Hi, everybody. I'll now open the October 17th, 2024 meeting of the Sherborn Conservation Commission with a roll call of who's present. Michael Lesser present. Steve,
Steve Scrimshaw present.
Jacob,
Jacob Strauss present.
Terry,
Harry Luskin present.
Courtney.
Courtney Eck present.
Okay, so we can get this going. Are there any issues that should be added to the agenda under the 48-hour rule?
No.
Okay, I don't have any either. Okay, let's see, going through a few things here. There is a warrant for I think it's like $300 and some odd, some postage, as well as getting the monument signs, a new batch of them printed up. Anybody has any questions? And let's see, any other little details I can deal with quickly? Announcements. I don't think I have any, except I guess there is the MACC Fall Conference, which guess I'm not going to be around to go to either, but if anybody's interested. Let's see, there are a set of administrative approvals here. Are they all?
They are all approved except for 28 Lake Street. They filed an AA, which was really nice of them, to do landscaping and expand a lawn. It's right adjacent to Obed Lane, and there's a wetland in front of their, next to the road in front of their house. So I'll reach out to them and let them know they'll have to do some kind of permitting.
Okay, so we have 2 Surrey Lane for soil testing, 9 Russet Hill Road for soil testing, 102 Coolidge Street for a deck addition and addition, 15 Meadowbrook Road, rebuild and expand deck, 17 Stony Brook Road, distribution box replacement, 130 Nathan Hill Road, indoor in-ground pool, 169 Maple Street, septic system update, and 105 North Main Street, septic system update. Okay, we've done that. We are, let's see, a list of things here. We do have 1 set of minutes, but that'll take more than a minute. Agent position status. We're interviewing candidates. Next week, we're going to have a talk. It looks as, I guess I could say this out loud.
No.
Okay, we're interviewing candidates about people, and we'll let you know next time about how things are going. Let's see, that is it. It is almost 7:20. Okay, 7:20. Reopening the continued public hearing on the Sherborn Wetland Regulations, discussion of possible amendments to the Sherborn Wetland Regulations. Fortunately, I've been quite busy with a lot of tasks, so there's nothing more to show at the moment. And as we wrote here, it's just going to be continued. So I'm going to move to continue this hearing without discussion to November 7th at 7:20.
Second.
And
Thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Michael, aye. Steve?
Aye.
Jacob?
Aye.
Terry?
I,
Courtney?
Aye.
And Matt's still in progress, it looks like. Okay, so we got the 4 of us there. Did I get everybody? Okay, 5-0. Let's see. Okay, it's 7:20. I am now going to, I see that Ryan is here. Okay. 7:20, notice is hereby given that the Conservation Commission of the Town of Sherborn will hold a virtual public hearing using Zoom technology at 7:20 on the 17th day of October 2024. The request for determination of applicability, or RDA, hearing will be held pursuant to Chapter 131, Section 40 of the General Laws as amended, the Wetlands Protection Act, and the Sherborn Wetlands Bylaw, Chapter 17, or something new, to consider a proposal by the applicant Ryan Hunt for tree work within a wetland buffer zone at 71 West Goulding Street, map 12, lot 46. This application is available for viewing at the Sherborn Conservation Office. All persons desiring to be heard will be given an opportunity to speak at this hearing. Okay, we've got the hearing open there, and
Can I share my screen?
yeah, but Matt has his hand up.
Matt Olair present. I apologize for the technical issues earlier.
Okay, apology well accepted. So, okay, whether you or Joyce could lead away.
Well, I'll start. Ryan gives a very good explanation for the purpose of this. He originally filed an AA application to install a solar field between his house and South Main Street. This is at 77 West Goulding. And he managed to keep all of his activity outside the 100-foot buffer zone. We went out and measured off the edge of the wetlands. The wetlands that show on this plan are very approximate. So we went out and measured this area and determined what his limits were. And then after he installed this, it became apparent to him and the people that are installing this field that there were some trees along this edge that are shading out will shade out the panels. And I observed that as I stood there. So there's I've plotted these trees, and they are approximate. They are, this is not a surveyed map, but it's just to give you an indication. The red ones are dead, and they might be closer to the limit of clearing. So there's very big trees that are a danger if they fall. And we talked about how he would access these trees, and they would not entering into the undisturbed woodland, but accessing it from the previously cleared area. So the red trees, the red circles I have here are the dead trees that he's looking to remove, and the blue ones are the trees that are along this edge of the field that he's looking to remove. There's some good sized ones. There's 6 trees. We talked about he has done plantings along this edge, which would be in the buffer zone. Again, this isn't necessarily drawn to scale, this map, but he's planted a number of trees along the edge, mostly for screening. Some are in the buffer zone and some are out. But he has agreed to plant an additional 6 trees within the buffer zone along this edge here. I thought that maybe 6 evergreen and 6 deciduous native species would be appropriate. And that's where we start. I mean, Ryan has a very good explanation, it's description of what's happening out here, but that's the overview. I also have pictures. Are you able to see that?
Yeah.
All right. So this here, this picture here. I don't know if you can see my arrow. This starts the beginning of the dead trees. This one right here, and that I think is just outside the buffer zone. And then you can see the dead trees as you go
So this is looking towards South Main Street?
This is looking, so can you see the evergreens here?
Yeah,
Did the picture change when I clicked?
Yes.
So we've got another dead tree, here's a dead tree, and here's a dead tree, and they are leaning in such a way that there's a danger that they would fall on the panels. So again, these are the trees that he planted. He is keeping that there's an area down here that are shrubs that he could add additional trees in, and then behind this row, he can also add some trees that it would be more in the buffer zone. So this is looking towards South Main. And then I'm, going around the corner here. And this is looking towards the end where the live trees are. And there's a combination of live and dead trees that run along this edge. So it's these trees with their canopy here. They are live and they're healthy, but this group right here. So there's 6 of these to remove. One of them I requested that he leave. So we've gotten it down to 6, and there are several dead trees in here that, this is one I'm counting right here, that would come down also. There's a big dead tree right here. If you can see that there's another big dead tree right here. And I'm standing up on the hill now, just looking down. You can see what the area that's been cleared. This is adjacent to South Main, and these were the trees that would be removed here. And that's starting over again. And that's the story. I did put in special conditions in the folder
mm-hmm. I see.
that I don't have readily available to bring up.
I can bring it up and may be useful. While I do that, Ryan, did you want to add anything to her description before we have any questions?
I don't think so. I think that was a pretty good rundown of what we're up against. The dead trees there's been some that have fallen on 27 in that same area in the last couple of years. So, they're either maybe coming down in the yard or on 27. So hopefully those can go. And then there's the canopy on those others just overshadows that bottom array. And there's really no way of understanding that until we cleared everything and saw what we were left with.
Okay.
They did a good job of minimizing things, and then seeing how that affected what they were doing.
Okay. People can see the screen now with the special conditions. Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Do people from the commission have some questions to ask?
So
Just oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jacob.
Just a clarification question, Joyce. I think when you were describing mitigation trees, you were saying 6 of each, but in the conditions here, I see 3 of each. Is that
No,
which?
I said 3 of each.
Okay.
Okay. So it's not a 2-to-1.
I didn't do 2-to-1. That I'll leave that to you, because he's already planted a number of trees out there in the buffer zone. So I felt we, would add more, even though if we counted out the trees he's got in there, it's probably more than 6 in the buffer zone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Terry, why don't you go before I have a question?
Thanks. Yeah, I was hopeful that whoever has either planted your evergreens or recommended your 6 replacement trees is keeping in mind kind of the mature height of those trees, and that you won't be cycling through a need to again remove trees just in order to keep. We just put solar on our house, so I'm fully a fan of optimizing the solar capture there. But what's your situation with the selection of trees, other than just 3 being deciduous and 3 evergreen.
Well, I mean, Ryan, you can correct me, but the trees where they're being planted are along the side and aren't necessarily going to shadow. They don't face the array. They're planted perpendicular to the array.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
on the side, so they'll have minimal impact.
Right.
We have
East
a,
side, right?
pardon me?
Is that the, no, that
East
must
side,
be the
yeah,
west
they're on,
side.
they're on the east side.
Okay.
We have a variety of red cedars in there that get 20 to 25 feet, and there's some others that get about the same. They can be pruned too. They can be topped. So they won't be coming out. And we don't think they'll have much of an impact.
All righty. I'm glad to see the snags being left of the dead trees that are going.
So the way I wrote that up, Terry, and again, this is just for you all have to approve this, is that the trees that are right adjacent to the array that are closest, I don't know, Michael, there's like 4, that I said that they would be cut to stump height but no stumps are ground down. And then all the others would be left to a height of 6 feet.
Oh, to some reason why the 4 wouldn't be.
Well, it's because they're, when they're close to the array and it's just in the event that they might sprout.
Okay. Other people that have questions?
Did we specify the restoration? Oh, yes, you do. You do have native trees in there. Since they're not going to interfere with the array, since you are removing canopy trees, it would be preferable to put in canopy trees if that's possible. If they're not going to shade the array, but if they are, then certainly a smaller tree is okay.
Are there canopy trees that aren't so tall?
Well, you're certainly not going to want to put in a tulip tree, so.
Well, no, I'm just trying to think of whether we want a canopy tree. And whether there are ones that are limited. I don't know what this I'm not looking at the scale, the distance of the shading that might come from here.
Right, so the trees will be planted along the edge parallel to South Street.
Oh, I guess I have a little of a question about that, because this is, I mean, the buffer zone here is, I guess to some extent, I mean, it's dealing with a wetland across the street. I'm more worried about the buffer zone over here that is sort of contiguous with the actual wetland resource. Is there anything that,
Well, right where your arrow is right there
yeah,
is the best place to plant at least 3.
Mhm.
Right there in that area.
okay. Yeah, I could see that given the distance from the array. Although who knows what shading you might get of this end in the long term. I guess, yeah, I guess planting just the trees here. I'm trying to remember from the picture what the crown is like at this end here, where more of the trees are cut in terms of
It's
the crown.
it's pretty thick there. As far as in the woods, there aren't really any open areas in there, but
it's densely vegetated around
Yeah.
here, except for the trees. Yeah, trying to think of what, so therefore you're saying that whatever planting stuff there is not so critical in terms of the ground cover. Yeah, I guess to me, it's basically the choice of tree and maybe whether you're right. And I guess the other trees have been already planted along here. that we saw, the evergreens. Which we don't mind giving credit for. Yeah, so do we think there's anything to specify about the tree type of the native trees of 3 deciduous and 3 evergreen? And they're all gonna be planted in this one area here. Is that what you're,
Yeah, I think my earlier point was that putting another canopy tree, lovely as it would be, sort of replacing what had been there, the height of those trees is the part that's problematic. So putting a quite sizable canopy tree seems like you're just kicking the can down the road a few decades.
well, that's, I don't know,
More of
25.
an understory tree that's
But for
native.
For the 2 dead snags that are, they're hazardous snags that are in the, what is it, northeast corner though, why couldn't a canopy tree go there?
Here,
Yeah,
Yeah, they could.
I guess I'm thinking that I'd like to see this, given that this buffer zone isn't of particularly high quality, given that it's separated from the wetlands across the street. That's my sense, that I'd rather have all the mitigation trees over here.
Makes sense to me, truthfully.
And yeah, no, the issue for canopy for me is only whether there's some trees that are known to have, which I don't know myself, are canopies, but are of lower height in their mature state, if one could even control that.
He's also planted some shrubs in that lower corner. Would you prefer he put shrubs in the buffer zone along that front?
You mean talking about here?
Or no, it's further where the blue dots are.
Oh. Well, if you're telling me that it's well vegetated, I'm not quite sure whether, if there are gaps there that are worth filling in.
So along behind the blue, the 4 blue ones is a stone wall that separates the property from the wetlands. And it would be possible to plant, I'm just throwing out there if you would prefer to plant shrubs over
You
there. If
wanna
you want
pull up
something
the
planted over
picture?
there.
Can we look at that picture again?
Sure.
I can do that, I guess.
If you want to stop, I think I still have it up. If you want to stop sharing for a second.
Okay, sure. I mean, I have them right here, I guess. So,
Okay, no, it's fine.
I guess it's towards the end of the series. Let's see, this is the last one. I think the trees you're talking about are those. That's the south again. I mean, the east, sorry. We're getting closer. So you're talking about, this is the
Yeah,
area
so you
that
see, I don't know, you can't really see it, but there's
Right
a
here.
stone wall. Yeah, that's right there. So, could something low go in front there where the trees are? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because right now it looks sort of just not. Okay, right, I guess it is.
As
There's,
you get beyond the stone wall, the shrub layer is very thick, and I'm not sure and right now there's a lot of leaves that have fallen, but surprisingly, if I'm not sure how the competition would be as you go further into the established woods.
I am not arguing for that. I don't know what this area is like here. Looks,
Yeah. That's directly in the array area.
this thing here?
Yeah, so that's the array kind of faces towards that direction. Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I'm just talking about what the vegetation is like there, whether to plant some shrubs or something there.
Well, I
Oh,
guess,
yeah.
are we happy with 6 native trees plus the trees that were already planted? Because if we are, then I don't think we need to go into
Shrubs.
shrubs.
Well, I was just trying not to plant trees in front of the array, that's all.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the area that you're talking about planting trees.
Yes,
Oops, I guess it's here.
yep.
I mean, that looks very densely vegetated as well. In here.
Yeah, but he's done it along the edge, so there's still room behind those are shrubs right there. There's room behind the shrubs and at the end of the shrubs. So there's room there to put some, not 6, I don't think, but certainly
Well,
3.
I mean, I'm
Well-
fine specifying 6 native trees and not specifying canopy, and then they could be whatever size tree. It seemed like a lot of trees were, were already planted. And I don't want it to get into the situation Terry's describing where you tell them to plant an oak tree and then, they come back later to have it cut down because it's shading the arrays.
All right. Steve?
I just have a question about those tall trees to the south that we're seeing in that view. Are those white pines behind them? There's the evergreen trees. What are those
You
kind
heard
of
about
Those
this?
shrubs,
Yeah,
yeah, those
yeah.
are shrubs. Those are white pine.
white pines?
Yes.
Those white pines get to be pretty big and pretty shady.
Well, we'll see what happens in 25 years or 20 years and whether he comes back to us. At some point. Okay, I guess I would like to. Right, I can't tell whether just planting the 4 trees here and whether to have 3 or 4 in here if there's not that much room there, and maybe there's 3 trees planted here and maybe the equivalent of 6 shrubs filling in here. I could see a mix too, just sort of spread it out if this area really doesn't usefully take all the trees as an alternative. Because right, and I don't see the need, right, I have no problem without specifying what the trees are at this point, given the other trees that are there. And I don't know, it seems a little trivial whether the 6-foot snag level is, I guess you don't want it to be able to fall down if it's 10 or feet or more. Okay, okay, where are people? Do we want to say, I would say specifying 3 trees here and a bunch of shrubs here, 6 there, but I'm open to what other people think, so we could just move on. Chime in, folks, what your preference might be.
That's fine with me. I agree with you.
Fine with me.
Yeah, we
Same.
have so much plant material elsewhere.
Okay. I guess that's enough of us there. Ryan, you don't have problems with that kind of getting us to specify that kind of stuff here and then some shrubs here of some nature.
Yeah, that seems fine.
And getting credit for all the other trees planted on the other side. And leaving the snags. Okay,
Can I just revisit why not remove the white pine? They're not particularly special natives, I don't think. They're actually a successional tree. It's just that will go back to shade the array at some point.
And there's so much blight for white pines out and about.
I have a problem with this discussion.
yeah,
That's
I don't,
fine.
we need to look forward to that as opposed to seeing how they grow. And whether they even become an issue, since I can't tell if they're behind the stone wall even. Yeah, I sort of agree with Courtney that I wouldn't want to do preventative stuff like that. Any other points? Okay. So we're, in terms of conditions, we're basically setting an additional, oh, I don't know, how many trees can comfortably go in that corner?
We're gonna do 3 native trees, and then 6 native shrubs.
Okay. I guess we'll have 1 to 2. guess southeast. Corner. And 6 native shrubs. Where where most of the live trees will be cut. Okay, markers. Do we,
I did not discuss markers with Ryan.
okay.
Please feel free to describe the process.
I know we need to have a ready-made picture just to pop up here. So that we could say, here's, what are they? 3 inches by 6 inches or 4 inches by 6 inches?
I think they're 3 by 5, Deborah.
You are so right. They are 3 by 5.
Okay,
They're
So-
green, right?
what's
Mm.
that?
And they're green.
And they're green.
Yep.
And where would you think that, what does it make sense to put them on here? On the
Probably along the area, maybe a couple.
1, 2 here, and then 1, 2 here.
Yep. So
Uh,
they're they're markers that go along the edge that you can put on. You can put them on existing trees.
Right, they say this, not to disturb beyond this area, basically. They're reminders to people. Not to do anything. I guess, do you have to have a fence as part of the solar array protection or no?
No, there's like a scrim around each array tight, so there's not a perimeter fence that you might traditionally see on like a commercial array.
Right, yeah, I'm sorry. How many kilowatts is the array?
Just under 250.
Ah, okay, I guess that's a useful size to be at.
That's a magic number.
Yes, given the bylaw. So, okay. And I guess, let's see, where's the 100-foot, oh, the 100-foot failure zone just sort of tapers off here. Oh, there, okay. Proximate. I guess I'd say, since we don't know where the buffer, okay, so we're gonna put, okay, 1 and 2 here. Okay, is this the kind of like the limit of work as well? Is there a limit of work here?
Yeah, it's about at the 100-foot buffer zone. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So we're basically talking about the 2 on the south or east side and 2 on the west side. South side. Okay. Is that all right with everybody? Hearing wide approval. Let's see. Everybody feel okay with the, let's see. Do we have to come back and look at the end? That's part of the cover. How's that part of the RDAs now? Joyce,
What's that?
to be able to visit at the end completion.
Yeah, no, I didn't put that in there. It should be number 8.
Okay. You can fix this up.
I'll rewrite these
Yeah,
when
right.
Yep.
Okay, Ryan, I guess you see these conditions. Any questions about them?
I do. I don't think so. I'm just zooming in on the screen.
Sure.
No, but I
take
think
a
it's
minute.
good. If I do, I'll follow up to make sure I'm clear on everything. But it looks pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions before I move on this project? Or issues, comments? Okay. I move that we approve the project as an RDA -3, that with these conditions, project will have minimal impact on the wetlands.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Michael, I. Steve,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
Courtney,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Jacob.
Aye.
Okay, project's approved. I don't know if anybody's here to make comments. I see there is somebody who's not on the, out of this, but, okay. Good luck with the project.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Okay,
So everyone, there's a signature, there's a signature sheet that will be out in the box tomorrow morning, first thing.
It's
For
out.
you all to sign. It's out there now, so.
oh,
I didn't want you to think we had thought you would approve it. We wanted to be ready if you did.
Yes.
okay, fine. Oh, we will now take a 10-minute break while we all run down there and sign.
Maybe not all of it.
Just four of you.
Oh, right. Okay. Let's see. Going back to the agenda here. Okay. Let's see, we did the warrant. I guess under site issues, we have this DEP approval of the determination of applicability on
Not
lot
approval.
3.
It's not, it's so, yeah, just for the commission to know that the abutters appealed the RDA for lot 3 with DEP. And so that process is with DEP right now. They have reached out to us for copies of our files, but there's no action we need to take.
And DEP handles it even though this was done underneath the bylaw.
This was filed with DEP, not with us.
Okay. Right, I'm not even sure the procedure, for the bylaw, but we'll see.
If they file, if they want to, and they can appeal under the bylaw. It's a different process.
Okay, and they're aware of that.
I do not know. The time frame is also considerably longer. For them to respond in it.
Okay. Why don't you just let them know what that?
I can reach out to them. Yeah.
Let them know about that process. Okay. And there's in the file there's a letter that they wrote about what their issues are. Okay, and the other site issue is 54 Everett Street, for folks to know that that's the place with the animals. Or what do you want? I'm not quite sure it's a farm. And that's doing
So
activities.
yeah. So we reached out to have them contact us, and they have some personal issues going on, and they're going to reach back out to us when that's completed.
Okay. And let's see, we did the idea there. Okay. Courtney, okay. You're still pursuing the issue about the native plant trust? Request?
I mean, we just received the email today, so I wasn't
Oh, it was today.
prepared to
Okay.
discuss it at the meeting tonight.
Yeah, they just emailed us.
Oh, I guess I didn't have a sense of time when I was sorting through. Okay, we'll do it then next time. And let's see, and then okay, so let's do a set of minutes.
So can I ask a question about that? I mean, they requested, I don't know, Courtney, maybe you could, but they requested to be able to harvest some seeds from the Barber Reservation. If Courtney's going to reach out to, help me, Courtney,
Ted
Mr.
Elliman.
Mr. Elliman, to determine if that's something that would be feasible. And if he says that's fine, would the commission allow us to reach back out to them and say, okay, rather than waiting for another meeting, because our next meeting isn't for 3 weeks?
Oh, that's a good point.
Okay,
I would say yes, I understand. I've heard one of the ecological staffers at Native Plant Trust discussing, this is just an article I read, but I've heard the podcast about really becoming a seed bank for not only sort of Massachusetts, but New England. And it's something that is of great value before these things fade away. So I'm a fan.
Based on what I read in the email, I would be in favor.
right, they're only taking that more than 20% of the estimated seed from any one population that they're going through, so that seems seems like a good use, I mean, a valued activity and not gonna harm the habitat that they're at. If Ted gives his sort of approval of that kind of removal rate, I'd say that I would go along with it too.
All right. Well, I mean, if the commission is generally in favor of that, then that's what we'll plan to do. If Ted has any questions that I think means it should come back to the commission, then I'll bring it back to the commission. But otherwise, if Ted thinks this goes along with our kind of general plans and will cause no harm, then I know how the commission would like to act. So we can do that.
Okay, do you think we need to vote, or just that's good
Yeah,
enough?
let's do. Just to
Okay, well, I guess
make it official.
depending on the advice from our plant consultant, Ted Elliman. I guess I should reverse it the other way. I move that we allow the Native Plant Trust to make some selective seed collections at the Barber Reservation as per their email and species that they're looking for, and the conditions that they have in the email about how many they will take. And that we allow that to happen, subject to approval from our plant consultant, Ted Elliman.
I second.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Michael, I, Steve,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
Courtney,
Aye.
Matt,
All for seed altruism. Aye.
and Jacob.
Aye.
Okay. Fine. Now we've handled that for now until we'll see what comes up next time. Let me pull up a set of minutes. Before we get to one more topic. That we still have left here. Okay, it's the right set here. Do you see February 1?
Yes.
Okay.
It's also nice and big. I'm not gonna have to ask you to,
Oh, I was just about to increase it.
it's great, actually,
Oh, wow. Okay. Would you have eating a lot of carrots lately?
apparently. I don't know.
So this is back in February. I guess there's not much on this page that I'm showing. I'm going to scroll down, unless we misspelled somebody's name. Here's the substance of it.
Good here.
That's it. I move that we approve the minutes of February 1st, 2024 as presented.
Second,
Thank you. No, any further discussion? Roll call vote. Michael, I. Courtney,
aye.
Jacob,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Harry,
Aye.
Steve.
Aye.
Okay. That's all we have at the moment. That I will let you know, Courtney, the sad news that the other set of minutes that you did, we had approved back then.
Oh my God.
I know, I was reading that and I edited them, I read it. And then I went back to look, when I was reading these minutes. Is it this one here?
Was it in there? Was it like referenced in there?
It was referenced here. It referenced right here that the January 18th minutes, and I guess I made the mistake of I have yet to submit them. So that's my fault that I didn't submit them. I found them in the folder. So I apologize for that. Okay. And let's see, the last topic I think we have here is 40B projects. What's going on here? Let's see. I think we've covered everything else. Okay. As some of you might know, there were two 40B projects that were came before the ZBA that we commented on back in 3 years ago. There's the one on the corner of North Main and Hunting Lane. And then further up the road, there is a lot that has wetlands and where there are two test wells dug. And then further down Hunting Lane on the south side there is another lot where they had another project. They're called Pine Hill Residences and Apple Hill Estates. Pine Hill Residences is the one on South Main Street. They were, I think, they did not get comprehensive permits back 3 years or so ago. Went to housing court or I think it's called something else really. And recently, because the applicant has reduced the scale of these projects, if I understand correctly, they have remanded them back to the town to reconsider the projects. And that hearing has opened for the ZBA for the Pine Hill Residences. And then I think they're opening soon on at some point for the Apple Hill Estates. For some reason, they're coming up separately, even though they are linked by a shared water supply on the lot in between, for which Conservation Commission granted a permit to dig 2 wells and to do some very beginning initial testing. They would have to come back to us for further testing to see about the sustainability of the water supply there. So that is, they started, I think we had on our agenda some months ago, that they were going to apply for that kind of, for a notice of intent related to that testing, but then that was withdrawn. And so the ZBA is discussing it, the big issue of the sustainability of the water supply and to what extent they want to see some information before they make a decision about these projects this round. But there is I think, a bit of contention between whether the applicant needs to supply that or not. In the meanwhile, they're basically working off all of the information that was submitted last time. Let's see. I'm going to share my screen. And I will make it larger. Oh wow, different letterhead then. We made these comments back on April 23rd, 2021. We need to see whether, I'll confirm that they are still working from these comments and whether we want to change them. I can let people skim them here and then we can come back to it. It's only a few pages. So maybe I'll let people read it. Tell me when to scroll down and then we could talk if we wanted to do anything, change any of this.
Can Michael, when would be the appropriate time for an unrelated question that's not sort of beyond these comments?
You can do it now.
Do we have to review the delineations for this? Because I assume, did they just copy over the outlines from 3 years ago? Do we need to offer an opinion as to whether they are still the same or not?
I think they're still gonna have to come to us for a notice of intent. This is under the ZBA process. It's a good question. I can't figure out how we're dealing with the 40Bs and sort of approving I mean, I think we've written in the past that we would like the delineation reviewed. But I can't remember, I'm not sure whether at this point, I'm not sure how much of a difference it would make on their project. I don't know if people looked at it. They've only presented Pine Hill residences. And all of the wetlands in that case are on the other side of the railroad tracks. So there's a little less sensitivity as to the buffer zone, value of the buffer zone on that side. Although I guess creatures do migrate back and forth across the railroad tracks. I don't know. Joyce, do you have any view about that? You're muted.
We wouldn't necessarily review anything till an application came before us.
Right. But they're reviewing, we're trying to get them to react to wetland issues under the local bylaw. And it's a matter of whether there's something in particular that would we want conditions versus what we would condition under their NOI.
They are working in the buffer zone, correct?
Right. And also the water supply is coming through the buffer zone. They plan to pipe from the wells underneath or through the wetlands, underneath the railroad tracks.
Yeah,
So-
that's not the buffer zone, but the NOI itself, excuse me, the actual project on North Main Street is in a buffer zone, right?
Yes, but it's part and part, I think we can't separate it from the water supply impact, but yes, I can pull up a map of if it would prove useful for folks. Let's see.
In terms of comments that we would need to give to ZBA, would we just instead say something of the form, there is no current approved delineation and there's no permit application before us to review anything, or something in that form?
Well, no, we need to look at the plan that they have and I don't remember if it's stormwater or buildings or landscaping, but like there's stuff that is in the buffer zone next to the railroad tracks. And you know, there's things that on a buffer zone project at the state level that we wouldn't normally have any, you know, we wouldn't have a lot of jurisdiction on. But is there anything we would ask for under our bylaw for that stuff, you know?
Here is, make it a little smaller. I don't know which size I used. So I guess I used 150. Now, oh, this is, so here's Hunting Lane to the north. Behind this is, below this is South Main Street. Here are the railroad tracks. Can't tell exactly here, right here, I think. Are the railroad tracks. There are wetlands above here. And you can see here the 25-foot, the 50-foot, and the 100-foot buffer is,
Right behind the building.
oh yeah, right there. So we have some part of a stormwater basin here, some fencing. I guess I assume this is kind of like the limit of work. And where does this go? For some reason, I guess.
Like right where you're, yeah.
Yeah, right there. So there's part of a building there in a buffer zone that I think there, I can't tell, there's existing buildings here that'll, oh, that's, I think, some septic stuff.
No,
Yeah.
there's,
There are some existing buildings. Oh, I think they're
yeah,
over.
but those are mostly, yeah.
I think this. Edge of pavement. I thought there were buildings somewhere around here.
I don't think they're that close to the railroad tracks.
Oh,
They're
they go right up to, they go right up to the side, I guess. If
Is
this is
that-
the road, yeah,
Is that road there existing or new?
this is new, but there's an edge of pavement in gray here. There is a road back here.
So that's like Powder House Lane goes back there, and then like it stops. The rest of the way that turns out onto Hunting Lane is,
Well, yeah, I mean, the road goes down to around here, and there's some buildings there for a landscaping company currently, but I'm not exactly. I mean, the buildings might be here, but there isn't a lot of room between the side of the buildings. And the thing there. So there's certainly a lot of change going on here, and this is in the buffer. So, given the issues of affordable housing, I can't tell what we would want to push. Can't remember if I go back to we had public water. Basically, we had the horizontal drilling for the well. There was the impact on the wetlands from the well. The absorption system is, here we have delineate wetlands. So we have the delineation in there. That's right, we want that delineated, then there's the stormwater management. So, let's see, what else is there? So, well, we'll deal with this in an NOI. What do we want to do under the bylaw? Is the issue.
Put in some native plants.
Hmm. Interesting to see who's the property owner here. The Eating Drinking Society.
1760 Eating and Drinking Society.
Uh,
All right, stay on track here.
Well, I was in my own mind wondering why the left side of the road was going so very close, closer to the wetlands, closer to the railroad track, but it's obviously skirting that property line, which I now see, I guess, as a property line.
I'm gonna just step back for a second here. Yeah, there's a 15-yard setback. Yeah, so this is faintly the existing driveway, I guess.
Well, here's some questions that we can't tell from this plan. What sort of activities in terms of tree removals and then tree replacements? Since even things on this side of the road will affect shade, because this is, oh wait, no, which way is north here?
There's no
North
trees.
to the left.
Trees there?
There's no trees. There's a giant doggy daycare back there. It's all open.
Over
field.
here, yeah. This is a big field. I don't know what, I can't remember. There might be a tree or two along here. I guess whether we ask them that for vegetation along the road here that's in the buffer zone that
There's no vegetation there.
there's no vegetation now.
No, you can
Well, we
see
could
on the
ask-
satellite. There's nothing.
No, I'm just saying whether we ask for it as part of.
We could ask for it. Yeah, yeah.
I see Tom Trainer has politely raised his hand. I don't know for how long.
Just recently, could I add a little context?
By all means.
I hope everybody realizes the big piece of land on the left there, that's the fireside
Right. This thing here.
property. Right. Somebody mentioned the 1700 Drinking Society, but that's the fireside. So the upper area of that map shows all that cleared area where there's a whole bunch of storage sheds for landscapers, and different trucks are parked behind the 41 North Main and behind the fireside, and continuing south behind Frosty's, behind the post office. So that's like a dirt road along the railroad tracks with all kinds of odd things.
Michael, can I share my screen?
Yeah, there's a lot of vehicle stuff here.
Yeah.
But it's actually a road, a paved road. There is
In some places it's paved, and some it's not.
I have an aerial photo. Yeah, hold on. So this is the buildings here. I think this is paved right here where the landscaping vehicles are shown. So this is the property limits right here. I don't know if anybody can see that.
So in that where the building is.
Yep.
At the top there. Now moving. Let's put that building along the edge there. That one right there.
Yep.
Is where it looks like roughly where they're putting a building. One of
Right,
the two townhouses.
And this is all vehicle storage, and this is paved.
Yeah, it's all gravel and broken up asphalt. So
if they're gonna turn that into a road, any kind of vegetated buffer that they could put between the road and the railroad tracks would be an improvement on the current conditions.
right.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm thinking too about, you know, the new roads going in, whether this is kind of solidly paved or paved in some areas. So then you have this whole sort of heat island effect between roofs and road paving that it seems to me there would be some value as close as we are to the buffer to specify some plantings to keep the heat managed
Same purpose, but the
in
same.
those little yards. Yeah. Even though it's not in the buffer necessarily.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean, whether you go, well, the buffer zone. Yeah, but we can't mandate, although I guess the ZBA can.
I can stop
The
sharing when you
wetland,
bring
the
the plan
wetland
up.
is in most of the road side. Because the road is partly in the outer buffer when I'm looking at the map. So therefore, I think we can specify that along the side of the road towards the railroad tracks. What do we actually want to have them plant? Trees
So-
and shrubs and keep it on, and what are the 3 layers we want from them?
I think I saw a large snow storage area there.
Oh yeah, right. So do you want me to put the other map up again?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here's that snow area, which is, I guess, here's that 100-foot buffer line here. Whether it's over here. And so a lot of the road and the snow storage area is in the buffer zone. Now, I guess the problem with having a snow storage area is all the, besides soaking up the area of the buffer zone. That I guess it's all the, whatever chemicals that accumulate there. Do we want to request that the road be, should be, shifted and the snow area should be on the, east side of the road instead of the west?
I mean,
think
they're
this-
both. Go ahead, Terry.
I was going to say, in my opinion, the further from the wetlands that is, the better. And I don't know whether do you mandate soil testing at some intervals for these sorts of things? This is outside my knowledge, but boy,
Yeah.
if that's within the buffer zone.
They have more snow storage proposed in another area. We could ask them to
Right.
put more snow over there instead.
The snow here, it's a much smaller area. But I guess they're trying to find something for the road here, but we can ask them to minimize it and move it.
That works for me.
So what do we want? What do we want planted here? How do we want to describe right up what we want planted here? And I don't know what they're planning on doing over here, but this is a stormwater basin, whether I guess this is still the 100-foot, only a small part of it is there. And so, okay, well, how do we want to describe the plantings? Do we want trees every 40 feet and then shrubs every 10 feet and then I'm just throwing out numbers so that we can figure out how to move forward on this.
Sure.
I'm kind of liking the idea of a hedgerow where there's sort of continuity thinking more about sort of wildlife and ground coverage and stuff, rather than sort of boink, 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 separated
Mm-hmm.
shrubs. But that's just my opinion.
Sure, what other people think. We gotta come up with something, some consensus of what we're thinking here.
As far as I'm concerned, anything better is better than old cars and trucks. So I'll get on board with just about anything that sounds reasonable that you guys agree on.
Oh geez, you're not gonna contribute a thought? The Joyce, Steve, Courtney,
Terry's idea sounds nice.
what's that? What did you say, Courtney?
I said Terry's idea sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, planting anything, it like Matt said, that area is just horribly used right now. So anything you plant and take out of what the use is right now would be a huge improvement.
That's
Okay.
assuming anything can grow there, because those things have probably been leaking gasoline for 50 years.
Right.
Uh,
I'm sure there's native plants that we could stick in there. They plant them on top of landfills, so
right.
I
Okay.
I don't feel the need to over engineer that area.
Well, I just want to know what wording we're gonna agree. I gotta type something up.
I mean,
So-
I would just go with it. This doesn't look like it's a detailed enough thing to say too much about where. I would just say in the buffer zone, here's a density of canopy trees that we're looking for, and here's a density of shrubs that native shrubs that we're looking for.
Okay, we could do that versus this hedgerow idea, or whether we incorporate both.
Yeah,
Well, they can make
What-
a
Whatever you
hedgerow.
What?
Well, I thought we had come up with some vague, plans on other projects, sort of like this many shrubs, make sure the ground is covered.
Right.
You're just gonna put, I don't think we need to get that crazy.
I'm not saying that. I just want to get something as opposed to nothing, as
We've
opposed to,
written this a few times now for other projects, right? Don't we have something
Go find one of those other ones and
recycled?
obviously we just did it for Farm
You
Road.
could
We did
copy it.
something. We did something for Farm Road. And the question is whether but this, I'm just trying to get clear about that. We want do you want like an evergreen hedgerow? Does that have some wetland value
I
versus
think
just
that-
saying that we want trees, shrubs, and a ground cover of some density, and that is that's maybe only mowed on the side for 5 feet or so, and then left sort of and get rid of invasives.
in
Uh,
perpetuity.
yes, I just don't know what a hedgerow, how you define a hedgerow, what that means in terms of.
I don't think we should even get into using the word hedgerow, because we're gonna start a whole new definition and whatnot. If we just spec out what similar to what we did on Farm Road, it will grow into a hedgerow. It will be a mass of native plants.
It's that
Okay.
density thing that I think is what makes a
Okay.
hedgerow in my mind. And it's
So
mixed.
basically
It's
need
not
trees,
17 of the same shrub.
we need some diversity of shrubs and trees. Do we care whether the trees are, we just want it to be canopy, or we're not specifying anything, just native trees? And do we care if they're evergreen or not evergreen?
I mean, preferably there would be a mix of all of the above.
Okay. Green, deciduous. Okay, native, a mix of evergreen, deciduous. Probably at some density of who knows what per square foot. They're 10 foot, it could be for every hundreds. It could be for every 200 square feet, there's a tree, or or 100 square feet. I'll go look back and see, because there we just had trees planted. This is a little trickier. And the ground cover is just gonna be some sort of conservation grass mix. What do I put in there?
Has to be better than what's there.
Everything's gonna be better with that. I just need the words to put in there. I don't need that.
We
It's-
don't, there is no proposal about what to put in there from the developer, right?
I
no.
mean, we can just like what I'm trying to pull up the thing from Farm Road to see what we wrote, because surely we can.
We had conservation, we had some, because there we were closer to wetlands and stuff. I'm just to figure out what mix would work here. Joyce, do you have a suggestion as to what thing we would put there?
No, I think the conservation seed mix would be appropriate.
Okay,
Right. Looks like for a long time it's full sun. So no
okay.
need to sweat.
Or they
seed
can
stuff.
or they can come up with a planting plan to come before us.
Or approved equal.
Right.
Except we can't do that.
Oh, yeah, they don't do conditions like that. Okay, so we got that. I'll pull it from Farm Road, rough densities there. And then along the back here, where I guess the property line is here. And I guess they're having a fence, maybe. I guess on the other side of the fence. To go
Is
in,
that a retaining wall, that dark line?
I don't know what it is. Oh, it could be a retaining wall.
It's a proposed retaining wall and embedded 6-foot high black chain link fence.
Okay, I guess there's no wildlife issues going through there unless we want to put a tunnel from there to, who knows where.
We need a turtle ladder.
Yes.
No,
I guess what we're gonna say to them is that we want, some mixture of shrubs and vegetation maintained outside the, I don't know if the property line really jogs in like that.
Outside the fence. Right? You said there's a fence there?
Yeah, basically
Yep.
the railroad side of the fence. Or wall. We want some conservation mix and shrubs. Every, who knows what, 8 feet or something like that. And I can't tell if it's too small an area to worry about putting trees in there, or trees and shrubs. I'll just suggest that.
probably between 3 and 4 feet.
What, 3 and 4 feet? Oh, the distance you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see what's there. We'll say some mixture of trees and shrubs. Okay. So we've dealt with what they're doing on this side of the project. And as to the other issues there, most of them are around. So we have the septic. We don't know how the septic is gonna go. I guess they have some of the septic in the buffer zone, but maybe this is just good enough.
So the septic system looks like it's up front.
Oh, is it up front?
Yeah, that's the stormwater system that's in that area there near the buffer zone.
All right.
So that the big rectangle under the driveway.
Oh, okay. Shared septic system. Okay. Okay, so it's only a stormwater, and I guess it's outside jurisdiction and it's far enough. It's a big system. Sometimes we've argued that it's gonna flow towards the wetlands, but I think at this point it's far away.
You can pave over the top of a septic system? Interesting.
Who knows what they're doing? Okay, and then, so coming back to the other comments, Stormwater, we just want to make sure that de-icing chemicals, I guess we'd have to say that we don't want them to use salt. And because some of the stormwater basins are in the buffer zone. And the runoff is coming in there and no coal tar stuff. And okay, delineation. So I guess since we're only dealing with the one project, I did this down here so that the septic is more limited. We still got the PPP is related to those things. We'd want a full delineation, but that we're not asking for here with this project.
Michael, do you ever say anything about what it goes on that edge of the stormwater basin? Just in terms of plant material, or that's not something we do?
Well, it gets specified by the definition of a BMP. I got it right. Joyce can correct me. There are specifics about how these stormwater basins are designed to get a certain amount of infiltration and things.
Yeah, I just was thinking about the
Oh yeah, I
the
wanted
edge
to
of it.
convert them to rain gardens like we've talked about before, but they don't seem to have the same. I don't know, what do you think,
No,
Joyce?
they are different, and they do have to meet the DEP stormwater guidelines.
Okay, it's like a bioswale, sort of, a little, not a rain garden, but
So, yeah, I mean, rain gardens are a little different from stormwater
Yeah,
basins, and I'm not sure
right.
they can plant it without losing capacity.
Yeah, that was what I was told once before when proposing a swapping.
I was thinking along the edges of it more than anything else,
Yeah,
not in the basin itself.
that would work.
Yes, so that little area there we can,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess I'll extend whatever we're writing on the other side to this area too. Okay. Now, as to this stuff here, the horizontal drilling. Well, I guess I can't remember, the study said that, I guess whether we just deal with this with the NOI. And say that, given that they have a much shorter time period, it's only 90 days, as we were told, versus 180 days for this new permitting period. I think that we could just express our concern about this here, and they're already trying to deal with that. I guess I would note all of this and say that we will deal with some of this during the notice of intent. Okay, any other comments? I move that we send in comments on the Pine Hill Residences project based on the last draft we sent and the discussion in the meetings for vegetation.
Second. Sorry, were you not done with the motion?
I think so.
Okay.
And I guess I'll write something up. I'll use Courtney or some other people, or Jacob, somebody for some review if I needed, and Joyce. Okay. It's been seconded. Any further discussion? Any discussion from the audience? Okay. Or guest. Roll call vote. Michael, I, Steve,
Aye.
Joyce. Oh, no, Joyce. Sorry. I'm just going by who was on the screen. Terry,
Aye.
Courtney,
Aye.
Matt. Did I hear Matt?
Aye.
Jacob,
Aye.
and anybody else who wants to vote.
He's just testing you.
All right. Tom could vote too. Let's see, okay. Well, something will be prepared for them and we'll see what the next project looks like. That's enough for tonight on this stuff. Okay. I think we have gone through our agenda. This, I'm just going back to it to see. Okay, since 40B. Okay. Are there any other issues from anybody? Joyce or anything that we didn't cover?
Not related to conservation.
I was just gonna say nothing that this board can fix.
We can't solve the world's problems. After we've managed to do this, we can do anything. Okay, in that case, I move to adjourn at 8:43.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Michael, I, Steve,
Aye.
not Joyce, Terry,
Aye.
Courtney,
Aye.
Matt.
Aye.
Jacob.
Aye.
Okay.
If Joyce could vote, she would vote aye to adjourn, so.